I'm Jennifer Hurvitz, and welcome to Doing Relationships Right. Raw, authentic, and insightful, this podcast is a no bullshit look at relationships during midlife. It's not just talk, it's practical advice you can use, stressing self-improvement and personal growth. This podcast guides you in navigating online dating, building resilience, and finding the right partner for a fulfilling and healthy relationship. Have questions that need answering? No worries, I've got you. And we'll figure it all out together without taking ourselves too seriously here on Doing Relationships Right. Good morning. Good morning. This is Doing Relationships Right. I'm Jennifer Hurvitz, and you will not believe who I have in the studio today with me. Y'all, it's Aleeza Ben Shalom. Does that name sound familiar to you? If it doesn't, then you didn't watch her on Netflix because she's the star of Netflix's hit Jewish Matchmaking. I loved it. And here's the thing. She just wrote a book, and I read it last night. I love it. I love it. I agree with almost everything, actually, basically everything. It's basically like I wrote the book. It's just so good. I loved it. It's called Matchmaker, Find Me a Love That Lasts. I feel like I need to sing Matchmaker, give me a match. I don't know. Anyway. So yeah, if you watched the first season of Jewish Matchmaking on Netflix, you've met the incomparable Aleeza Ben Shalom. You've seen her guide clients with their tried and true practices such as date them till you hate them and no touching for the first 5 dates. Now she's bringing that wisdom to everyone, backed by real world examples. Aleeza Ben Shalom is a renowned matchmaker, dating coach, speaker, and soulmate clarity expert who empowers marriage-minded singles to find the one. As a dating coach, Aleeza works with people of all backgrounds. Her impressive track record has earned her the title of the Jewish dating guru, which is funny. I feel like I'm the dating guru and she's the Jewish dating guru, and I just love it. Anyway, she has successfully coached hundreds of people regardless of age, affiliation, life, or stage of life or whatever, okay? Aleeza has been featured across various media platforms, including The Cut, NBC News Daily, Men's Health, NPR, Rolling Stone, Good Day New York, Time Out, The Guardian, and Insider. She lives in Israel. Hello, guys. So if you're watching, you can see the most beautiful Aleeza Ben Shalom with me today. Yay. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. I'm thrilled to have you. I'm girl crushing very hard. So I'm going to try and take a deep breath and bring it down a notch. This is like your star. You're a superstar. Yes, you are. Yeah. The show was amazing. Okay. So if you didn't watch Jewish Matchmaking, you have to go watch it. It's still on Netflix.
It's on Netflix. You can check it out. Jewish Matchmaking.
It's so good. It's so good. And I have to tell you, I got your book. I missed you when you were in Charlotte, but your publicist sent me your book. I finished it. I loved it. It was amazing. I feel like kind of I could hear you, but I could also relate completely and hear myself because I'm like, I say that. Oh, I say that. So I think you align perfectly with my people. And I think everyone needs to read this book. Matchmaker. I want to sing. Matchmaker. Okay. Oh, there it is. It's so
Find
pretty.
me a love that lasts. It's not just finding a love. It's not just finding a date. Find me a love that lasts.
Yes. You're Basheret. Can we say that to people?
Your soulmate. Yeah.
Your soulmate. I love it. Okay. So you have some things in this book that I was reading last night and I'm like, oh my God, got to do this. Got to talk about this. I love this. And it's so funny. I think that you have this rapport where you're a tough cookie, kind of. Like
I'm a sweet,
you're
tough
sweet.
coach.
You're like one of those, you're like a mushy, gooey chocolate chip cookie, like a little, I don't know, but I just can't take it. So yeah, people listen to you. I feel like sometimes I want to say things to my clients and I don't, but now I'm going to because you do. I'm going to be like, no, Lisa said it.
No, but you have to again, you have to sugarcoat it because nobody wants to be told to their face something that is hard to hear. I mean, it's not true. I do have people that say, Aleeza, can you just be blunt and just say it? And I'm like, it's not really my style. You should pick a different coach. I'm going to get my message across, but you're not even going to know. They're going to be like, how does that work? I'm like, exactly. Like you don't even know. And it doesn't have to hit hard. If you want somebody to hit hard, I mean, I am like sometimes a tough cookie and I say it straight also. So it's not true.
I just love that you're you just say it and people are like, oh, like on the show, they're like, oh, Aleeza said it. So it's gold. We got it. Okay. So first of all, will you start by telling everybody how this started? You're in Israel, by the way, everybody. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Okay.
And then I'm going to ask you the tough questions.
Yeah, the tough questions. I was born and raised in Philly and lived there my entire life until 3.5 years ago.
I didn't know that.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God.
3.5 years ago during COVID during COVID,
Mm-hmm.
I said to my husband, we've always talked about Aliyah and we never found the right time, but like the moment is now. And he's like, could you define now? Like how now is now? And I was like, well, whatever Nefesh B'Nefesh says, however long it takes to move to Israel, they give us a timeline because there's paperwork that has to be processed.
Right.
He's like, give me an idea. I was like, 6 months. And he was like, 6 months. And I was like, yeah. Like, wrap it up, sell the house, sell the cars, sell the business, get rid of everything. We're going to Israel.
Oh my God. And like, you just decided this was it for you. You just wanted to make Aliyah.
We had always talked about it. I told him, like, if you want to get married, I want to make Aliyah, which means that I want to move to Israel. And if you don't want to do that, then you're not my person. And that's okay. But like, this is, like you said, I'm a tough cookie. So I know what my values are. I know what I want in my life. And it took me much longer. It took us much longer to get here than I ever expected. We moved after we had been married for 18 years. And
so you had so much stuff, right? I mean, like,
and our kids are big. Like we moved here, they were 7 to 17. Now they're 11 to 20.
Oh my God. Do you believe how fast stuff goes though?
Yeah, it's amazing.
I can't believe it.
But it's been such a blessing. I drive around every day and I'm like, I live here. I live here.
I mean,
this is not a trip. It's not a trip all the time. I live here. I love it.
Know what? It's so funny you say that because my parents, when I went to Israel, I went on the singles mission. The singles mission from Detroit. And my parents were like,
no. I don't know the singles mission. There's a singles mission?
Oh, yes. It's like the Federation, Jewish Federation, or, does like a singles. So they take all the singles between 22 and 40, and they put them on a plane and they send them to Israel. And then from all over the country, people come. So it's like it's a big, huge singles mission. And I actually fell in love with the guy who was running the show. And I'm like, what a nerd, but okay, he's going to be great, perfect sperm. And I was like, I'm not leaving. He was from Detroit also, but I'm like, we could just stay here. Can't we just stay here? Right. Like, I never wanted to leave. My parents were worried. They were like, are you coming home? I'm like,
I am home. That's what people are like, when are you coming home? I'm like, I am
so jealous.
Home.
I'm so jealous.
You're allowed to be. This is like the one thing in life that it's good to be jealous of.
Yes.
Because maybe one day you'll do it.
Oh my God. Can you imagine? Oh, my boys haven't even been.
It's the best.
I got to get my boys there.
So I've been telling my kids for years, one day when we move to Israel, and they're like, yeah. We've heard this story for the last decade. Yeah. And then COVID hit. And I was like, so I told my big kids, by the way, you're going to go to a boarding school in Israel. You're leaving in 4 months. We're going to follow you. We'll be there another 4 months, 5 months after you. And I know you've never been there, but we're moving there for the rest of our lives. So say goodbye to your friends, pack up your life, and you're moving. And they were like, what? And I was
were
like,
they freaked out or were they okay? They were okay.
Thank God. Besides being a dating, relationship, marriage, expert and matchmaker and coach, I am also, which is a part of this, a transition expert.
What?
Literally, when you have to transition from one thing to another, from one school to another, from one camp to another, from one community to another, from one country to another, I am a transition expert. So we had conversations, what are the good things that you're looking forward to? What are all the things that you're concerned about? What's the worst thing that you could possibly imagine happening? Now multiply it times 1,000,
I'm like, oh God.
Yeah. And what are you going to do if you get into a situation that you're struggling with, that's going to be a difficult situation? How are you going to handle it? So we think through and talk through and mentally walk through all of those things. And then when you're in this situation, it's not the first time it happened to you. It's now the second, because you've already experienced it and now you just get to play it out. And so it helps them process and think through it. And then it doesn't become scary anymore. It just becomes like, oh, okay. It still might not be, comfortable. It might be different, but it's not
the first time you thought about it.
Like by surprise. It's not like, I never thought of that. It's like, nope, my mother thought of that. I thought of that. We already talked about that. I know what to do. I got this.
That's awesome.
One of my kids like, Ima, it's fine. I got this. And I'm like, that's it. That's
like done. That's perfect. Okay. So how did you get into the dating matchmaking? Because you're like, if you don't watch the show, you guys go watch the show. But I mean, you're amazing at matchmaking. Like you got it. I don't do that. I'm a coach, but like, you're just like at this, I don't know, you're really good. How did you get into it? Like, you just thought I'm going to do a shidduch. This is it. I'm going to or what did you think?
So when I was younger, I just first of all, I always looked at families, right? I'm looking at couples and watching people. I was one of those people watchers. And I remember being in camp, and the first match I ever tried to make was with my brother, who was 2 years younger, and my girlfriend in my bunk. And I'm like, you'll go to the camp dance together. It'll be great. Her name is Michelle. She's so cute. Right? That's the first match I tried to make. It didn't last long term, but I think they had a dance. Right? And then in college, one of my girlfriends, I was working at a restaurant, and I met this guy, and we showed up at I think we hung out at like a local restaurant bar, and we went to say hi, and the guy who works there is there, and he's there, and he comes over to the table. How you guys doing? Good, good. And I saw there was like a little sparkle and a twinkle in their eye, right? And I'm going, oh, this is good. Okay, I'll be right back. And I left them alone to talk, and I ran to the bathroom. I'm like hiding out in the bathroom. I'm like, Mom, talk to me. I'm bored. I'm just hanging out in the bathroom because I'm trying to make them mad.
You're such a good friend. That's such a good wing woman.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so
awesome.
I totally stepped aside. And then I got married, and we had 2 young kids, and it was like baby central, which I love children, adore. All I wanted to do was get married and have children. That was my biggest dream and goal in life.
Same.
And and I was home, and I was like, I got to do something because I need like a little adult interaction here. I need some stimulation. And my girlfriend's like, oh, I'm like a volunteer matchmaker online, blah, blah, blah. You could try this too. And I was like, I am in. And then listen to this. You'll really like this. When I called to say, like, I want to do this, they don't just take anybody. And they said, well, are you willing to work with older singles? Now, I know nothing at this point about matchmaking. Nothing, zero, right? I'm like, yeah, sure, right? Like, I don't care. I'll work with anybody. So I start working with 40s, 50s, 60s plus, right?
But you were young.
I was young. I was 27, 20, something like that.
Awesome.
20, something in that age range, 28, I don't know. And I started working with older singles because that was the only way for me to get into the website. Because if not, they like, oh, we don't have any openings. And I was like, no, I don't care. It doesn't matter. But I learned there's different challenges that different age groups have. And yes, when you're in your 20s, quote, young and dumb, right? You didn't build your whole life already. So you can build it with somebody. It is a little bit easier to come together. And older singles have a different story. Either they weren't married and they have a whole life that they're bringing together, or they were married and they do or don't have children, and they do or don't have history of trauma and stories and stuff and family and extended family.
We call that baggage.
Yeah, tons of baggage, right? Some people are overweight and you got to pay extra to schlep it with you, right? But some people come with a lot of baggage, and to me, I was like, okay, wait, like it was like a puzzle for me to solve. So okay, we have to talk about prenups. We have to talk about like making sure that you feel safe and secure in a relationship so that, yours is yours, theirs is theirs, and yours is yours together. And we can make an ours kind of thing exist. And how to get creative about how to do things so that you didn't end up in a really uncomfortable position, but you ended up in a really healthy and a really beautiful position.
I love it. Okay, so can I get into your book?
Yeah.
You want to show it again? You want to show the book again? Oh my God, I'm so excited for you. There's nothing better than a book, baby. This is your second book, baby.
So I self-published 2 books.
Balloons. I don't know what's going on here. Every time you say...
Yeah, when you do a different thing on Zoom. So I self-published 2 books, and this is my first real book, I'll call it, by a publisher, Union Square. And awesome. I'm so excited because I'll tell you what I love about it and then ask me anything you want. Okay. But it's nonfiction, right? Because it's all about dating and relationships and tips and things. It talks about my clients and stories.
I like that part that it talks about your clients.
It reads like a fiction because the stories, like you get the details, and it's almost like you're reading like everybody's individual, like each chapter has its own story about the people and what's happening. You're like, oh, what happened to them? Oh, what happened to it? But it takes you through it. It's so relatable. Yeah. And we changed names, don't worry. So like Taylor Swift. There is one name actually that is real in the book, and he didn't ask me to change it, so I didn't change it.
There you go. I wrote about in my book, my last section of my book was all about my horrible dates.
Yeah.
I changed their names. I felt
you have to. No, only good things are written here. That's nothing not good with real names.
But you're so right. Like when I was reading, I'm like, okay, wait, you talk about something and then there's an example with your clients. Right. So you actually understand because you're right. It's like a romance, like a romance novel. And
which makes it so easy. It's like an enjoyable read. It's like a book you could take on the beach but that you walk away with wisdom and you nuggets. Do with your own life. It's not just fantasy and fun. There's purpose behind it, but it feels like fantasy and fun.
Totally. And there's little nuggets. And then you do like the tips at the end of each chapter.
Yes.
Which I love too. Okay. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions. Can we get in? But how much do you want me to give away about the book?
It's okay. You can give things away because you're never going to experience it unless you read it. It's totally
That's exactly right. Okay. Let's talk about, I have a couple of things the 5 date. Wait 5 dates to touch.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I totally agree with you.
Nobody ever agrees with me. I love you.
But I'm too scared to tell my clients that.
Okay.
Now I'm going to.
Okay, but this is the Aleeza sweet thing, right?
Okay,
everybody's like, but Aleeza, how do I know if this is the one? How will I know? I really want to know. I want to know. I want to know that they know. How will we both know? And everybody gives an answer and it goes like this. When you know, you'll know. Okay, can't stand that answer.
Oh, I hate it.
I'm not a fan of that answer. No. Okay. Here's my answer. If you start dating and you do not touch, you choose to take on the Aleeza challenge. You do not touch for the first 5 dates. If somebody wants a date number 6, what do I know? You both like each other.
That's exactly
enough
right.
to tolerate 5 dates with 0 physical touch, and you want to see each other a 6th time.
Do you think people actually follow? Do they listen to you? Do they follow through? Because I know if I told a couple of my clients that, they'd be like, okay, Jen. And then they would be like stripping or something in the car.
Some people can't do it, but then they're going to keep coming back to you and like, but I don't know what happened. I mean, he really liked me. And then we were together, really together on like the 2nd date. And it was amazing and blah, blah. And then he dumped her, right?
Yep.
Because he was never going to keep her anyway.
You're so right.
It always happens. So some people can't hold back because either they can't or they don't want to or they're not interested to try. Fine. But I've had Jewish clients, non-Jewish people, anybody who's heard my advice, they said, I asked my date, I said, I follow this, matchmaker dating relationship coach, Aleeza, and this is her advice. Like, you willing to try this? And guess what? They said yes.
Yeah.
And think about it. If they say no, do you really want to go out with them? Because why do you think they're in the relationship? What are they looking for?
I never thought of that. It's a test. It's a perfect test.
But it's for both people. Because again, I said it in the show, I want people to touch hearts. That's the inside that I want to touch, not anything else. It's irrelevant information, the physical side of things. If there is no chemistry, if there's no values that exist between you, no banter in the conversation, let's just do the math, okay? How much of your life is spent physically in the bedroom, in bed together, and how much of your life is spent living your life together? Do the math.
I'm not good at math, but I got you. Yeah.
Hello. Okay. You need to know if you like the human being, how you feel with them. Good. You can work on that later. If you don't like the human being, I don't care how they feel. It means nothing. Now, you want to date, you want to have fun, just say I'm going out on a date to have fun, but don't tell me that you're looking for a real relationship and then you don't actually try to get to know somebody, because you're not going to make it. Well, people do make decisions based on physical intimacy, but it's definitely the wrong thing to choose.
Wrong, absolutely.
That's the icing on the cake. But if you don't like the cake, who cares? There's nothing to ice. So start with it. And wait a minute. In the observant religious community, right? We don't touch until after we get married. We get married and then it's okay, literally physically holding a hand happens after the marriage. So I'm pretty reasonable, right? I'm not saying you should follow that because I'm not saying everybody can do that. That's not a set of rules that I think everybody can abide by. But I'm saying let's do it for 5 days because one date, doing it for 1 date, it's not enough, right?
I agree.
3 dates. Is 3 dates enough? Nah, somebody might hang in there just to get something out of it. 5 dates, nobody's paying for and tolerating 5 dates unless they like you.
I 100% agree.
Like them. And
absolutely.
I know it's mutual. It's mutual.
Yes.
It's a win-win. So everybody who follows this, it works. And if you don't follow this, good luck.
Bye-bye. Have fun. Yeah. And you have to be intentional. You have to be intentional about your dating, right? And you're right. 5 dates, that makes sense to me. I say 3, I say whatever, I say never the first. And people are like, oh, what do you mean? I know so-and-so from X, Y, or Z, and they're married 25 years and they had sex in the first. I'm like, okay, you know what? That's one person.
And listen, you're going to always have stories like that, but you're going to have 98 or 99% fails compared to every 1% that actually works like that. So it's nice that that's a story, and it could be your story, but it's not a recipe for success. And if you're going to date 100 people, I'm going to give you a method that's going to rule them out faster. Because usually, listen, play the game again. Like date 1, okay, good enough to go on a date 2. Date 2, ooh, okay, intrigued. Date 3, maybe it's a fail. Date 4, okay, now we're still going south. It's a fail. Good, great, now we're done. Like if you don't want to keep, right? If you're done, you don't want to keep dating, so stop. And if you do, you could go out again. But how many memories do you want in your brain when you're with your person? How many? Because all of those things come with you, and you know what they are? They're not memories. They're called trauma. Why is it trauma? Because they don't match up to what you have. So either what you have is not good enough and never will be because you have it compared to all of your memories, which, by the way, our memory increases in terms of like it volumizes the memory. So anything that was good was like amazing later on. And the more time that passes, the more amazing it is. And we're comparing that to our now person. Is that really healthy for your long-term relationship? So I'm not looking to only help people to get married and to build healthy relationships, but I'm looking to help keep that relationship going for a whole lifetime.
Absolutely.
And if you, listen, anybody who's hearing this advice now and is like, I want to do that, but like, oh my gosh, I've been with X number of people. Am I broken? You've got stuff to work on. Make sure that you work on forgetting.
Yes. Keep the skeletons in the closet. We don't need a body count. Hello. Right. No one needs to tell that. What is that crap? Oh my gosh. Okay. So this goes right into my next thing. Date them till you hate them. Date them, girl. I was dying. I'm like, this is, when I saw it on the show, I was like, it's amazing. But then I read it and I was like, date them till you hate them. That's awesome. Right. I think it's amazing. I'm all for it. So talk about that for a minute. Where'd you get that?
Okay, so I don't really believe in hating anybody. I'm all about love. I'm literally about the opposite. But the definition of date them till you hate them is if you don't hate them, date them. Right? If you don't hate them, you should continue to go out with them because everybody has logic and it's flawed. Okay? The world logic about dating is, well, if it's not a wow, yes, I guess it's a no. And my logic is if it's not a no, if it's not a hate 'em, if it's not, you're not for me, then it's just a yes for another date. You should be anywhere between neutral, neutral minus, neutral plus through like, ooh, ah. And the more wow you are and the more excited you are, the less excited I am.
Because me too, I'm the same way.
Often those wows, it's like fireworks dead. So I love neutral minus, neutral plus. I am all about neutral because we'll see if they'll become a plus or they'll become a minus in 5 dates. And it'll be very easy. It also doesn't waste people's time. Do you know that people come to me, they've been in relationships for 1, 2, 3, and 4 years, and they're still not sure if they, quote, like the person enough to continue with them? Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, really?
Mm-hmm. I could solve that in 5 dates.
Yeah,
in
absolutely.
5 dates, I can figure that out. They couldn't figure it out in a couple years. And that concerns me. How can you not know? How have you not spent enough time together? Why have you not had those quality conversations? That should come up much earlier than that. It doesn't have to come up in 5 dates, but you should figure that out within the first 6 months.
I agree.
And within 6 months, it's either he's yours or move on, or she's yours or move on. Like, that's it.
That's it. Oh my gosh, right? I love it. So it's really, date them till you're done.
Date them till you're done. But it doesn't have a ring. Date them till you're done would have never made one of the questions.
We need some little rhyme. We have to
Date them till you hate them. It's like, ooh.
It is. It's so good. It's so good. I call it the dating for now, theory of dating for now, because just like you're talking about, that's how I met my boyfriend of 8 years, is that we were friends. And then he said to me, look, let's just date.
I love friends who become.
Friends, me too.
Yes, I love friends who become in a relationship, and it's my favorite.
It's good stuff. Okay, so we did the 5 ways to touch, which I love. Okay, can we do the 5 date rule? Because that's different.
The 5 ways not to touch. What did you just say?
I'm sorry. The 5 date. We did the not touching for 5 dates, but then there's a 5 date rule, which is 5 dates, 5 hours, 5 days. Yes. Should I give that away too, or no?
That's okay. It's okay. We can share.
It feels so good. I'm just totally
That's right. So the 5-date challenge is like, I encourage people to try going on 5 dates. Cause again, after 5 dates, if you don't like them, like it's okay, we can move on. And no more than a 5-hour date. The first one shouldn't even be that long. It should be like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Oh my God, you're inside my brain. Yes, exactly.
Right. That's in the beginning. But like as things progress, date 4, date 5, you're like, wow, I really like them. I want to go out. I've had people call me and be like, we were on a 9-hour date. And I'm going, what? I had somebody call me recently and tell me they were on a 22.5-hour date. And I was like, no, friend, you are doing this wrong. Way too much. So 5 dates, challenge yourself mentally to choose to go out with this person for 5 dates. Do 5 no more than 5 days between dates. You got to keep.
That's important. That's important. Tell us that.
Every other day, every 2 or 3 days, get a momentum going. So don't let 5 days lapse, and no more than 5 hours.
I love that. So I have a question. So let's say that this is a big thing with my clients. They say to me, oh, I've been talking to him. We've been talking for like 3 months. So it's fine. 3 months. And I'm like, but have you met like in real life? And they're like, oh, no, but it's fine. I'm like, wait a minute. Wait just a minute. So 3 months is gone. You've wasted 3 months of your time. You haven't even met the person.
Correct.
Does that happen?
Yes, often. Yeah. And I have all my Aleeza things. Like I like that people meet within the first 2 weeks. If we have to stretch it, 3 weeks, 4 weeks makes me uncomfortable. And unless there's a pandemic, I don't want 6 weeks going by. It's ridiculous because I've had it. It's DOA, dead on arrival. I've had people talk on the phone. They're like, quote, in love, ready to take. Did you have this?
I had it.
I saw it with my own eyes in my own house because they came and they met me and we talked they went out, and he shows up and he's like a deer in headlights and he's like, he was like spaced out even. And I was like, are you disappointed? Does she not look the way you want? Like, what's going on? Like, I'm trying to take him aside. Like, what's happening? And he's like, no, I'm fine. And I'm going, no, that's not fine. I don't know what you think fine is, but that is not the face of fine. It was, and she was crushed. And I was like, Aleeza, we are not, and they had only been talking. That wasn't actually a super long time. It was a couple weeks. But still. But it was like enough. There was so much disappointment. Like, what happened to the person that I knew on the other end of the line before we met? Where did they go? So I like to confirm in person. I don't mind that you go back to virtual as long as every 2 to 3 weeks you confirm in person that you still like each other and you're not embarrassed to be out with them at a restaurant. You're comfortable that if at the right time you introduce them to family and friends, like down the road, like there has to be something real there.
Absolutely. So I love that. So 5 dates, 5 hours, no longer than 5 days in between.
Right.
Oh my God.
No longer than 5 hours. Don't really aim for 5 hours.
I mean, I have clients that are like, oh, I slept over. I'm like, okay, this is no. Okay. This is a quote that you have in your book that I love. It was one of my most favorite quotes. You were talking about not finding someone attractive, like this guy who walked in, or you were like, do you not think she's pretty? Do you not think she's whatever? And I think that's a big thing for a lot of I don't know why my male daters are like, well, she's not really my type and da-da-da. But you said something, her looks aren't, you said, her looks aren't going to change. And then you said, no, but the way you look at her will.
Yes.
Okay. So I loved it.
Such a line.
Such a line.
So I had a client once say to me, Aleeza, I don't want to keep dating. I said, okay, why? He said, because when I first met her, I didn't instantly think that she was attractive. And I know that if I keep going out with her, I will. Okay. He was that self-aware that he knew that would happen. And he says, and I don't want to come to like her because I wasn't instantly attracted. I said, well, how do we know that your instant attraction is valid? If you're going to come to like her, then maybe what you saw in an instant was just a glimpse, and maybe that wasn't even a good view. So this also kind of goes back to dating somebody for 5 dates, right? When I've met you, first of all, when I see a photo, I make a judgment. In a split second, I make a judgment, right? No, not my person. How do you know? Their glasses.
I know, right?
Actually, it's the crooked smile. Their face was not symmetrical. The piece of jewelry, the belt, the something. Literally, there's something. I know. I just know. Okay. Then fine. If you get them on a date, great. They walk in, boom, I've made another judgment immediately. And in my head, I've already said yes or no. right? Now, how much time do you have under your belt? Hardly a thing, right? After one date, what do you have? 2 hours, 3 hours of information? Okay. But after 2 dates, 3 dates, 5 dates, how many hours of information do you have? How much more valid is the information you have? It's like you're looking at a piece of the puzzle and not the whole thing. And you're like, you've got one piece and you're going, I don't like it. I don't like it. You're like, but you don't know what it looks like. No, I know. Oh, really? Because you spoke to them for 10 hours, 20 hours. You asked them, who do they want to be when they grow up? Where do they want to live? What kind of family do they want to have? What are their dreams and aspirations? Do you really like know who they are? No. Like it's the vibe, the type, this, that. No. Give it a chance.
Give it a chance. Absolutely.
If it's not a no, it's a yes for another date. That's it. If it's a hard no, because I'm never going to want to wake up looking at your face and it's going to pain me my whole life. Okay, that's a no. But if it's like I wish you were different than you are, but like it's not a hard no. It's just not what I thought I was going to end up with. Then you probably should go out because you might have. I don't want to spoil anything else, but like HQH, you might have a high quality human. It's another chapter in the book, and when you miss it. I'm just telling you, they don't come around so often. Mm-hmm. And they are just magnificent people to marry and magnificent people to be in a relationship with. And it's like so sad to me that people don't they don't give themselves enough of a chance.
Do you think it's they're like self-sabotaging?
Sometimes, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like that too. I feel like they're saying something that they don't like about this person. Maybe it's just because they're not ready to date.
It could be that they're not ready. It could be that there's fear, commitment, PTSD from previous relationships. There's trauma from like families. They grew up with this. They can't even imagine getting married. Or if you come from an amazing family, I'm never going to live up to that. How am I going to live up to that? Or I like them. I could probably be okay with them, but how am I going to bring them home? Because my family is going to judge them more harshly, and I don't think that they're going to accept them. So there's so many layers of thinking, and there's so many stories running around in people's heads. They don't even know. Like they can't. You got to pick it all apart so that you're actually clear about what's stopping you from moving ahead. If it's not for you, it's not for you. But it might be. So you shouldn't necessarily, throw something away.
Okay, so on the show, I remember, tell me if I'm wrong, did you not show the pictures of the people first?
Sometimes. It depends. Sometimes I did, and sometimes I'm like, want to try a blind date? How much, not do you trust me? Because I don't want about trust, but like, are you open to a different kind of dating experience?
Right. Oh my God, the whole thing was just so good. It was a great show. The book is great. You're great. Your vibe is great. Everything about you. I have such a girl crush on you. I can't even tell you. I just love that you were here. This is like I just can't even speak. I'm like speechless, which never happens. But I wanted to thank you so much because I think that you are just invaluable. Everything, your little nuggets of whatever. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Okay. So tell everybody the book comes out in December.
Yes. And it's on pre-sale now.
So we're going to put the pre-sale link in the show notes. We're going to hype it up because I want everyone to get this book. It was fantastic.
You need it. Two people need it. You as a single person need it for you. And if you're in a relationship and you're happy and healthy, but you want to help somebody else, read it. You'll know all of my tips. It's like a download of my brain. And you're like, oh, I could do that. And I could help somebody in that way.
Oh, I never thought of that. That's great. That's great.
It helps them to be somebody else's matchmaker.
Oh, no, but they should
the whole world should play Matchmaker. It's the most fun thing. I love it.
I love it. And when it works.
Yeah.
When it doesn't work, can I take is it like, have you had people like mad at you or I don't know. I'm not a matchmaker. Really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You're either loved or hated in this business. You are either their savior or Satan. You're just one of those two.
At least you know that going in.
Yeah. You're either win or lose. There's mostly not an in-between.
Oh, girl, I just think you're amazing. Thank you so much for being here. Tell everybody where they can find you. I'm going to put it in the show notes, but.
Okay. My website, you can go to my name, AleezaBenShalom.com. You'll see a little book link there. You can grab that. Anything else that we offer, we're here to help. We've got free information. We've got paid services, whatever you need. We are here for you. And I just want to help you find a love that lasts.
I love it. I might come work for you. It sounds like fun over there. I'm telling you. I'm like,
we do have the best time. I have an incredible team.
Oh, it's so nice. Yeah, you have a great team. Okay, so I'm going to let you go because I can't keep you forever, but I just thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, everybody, go grab this book, go watch Jewish Matchmaking, and then do something fabulous for yourself today. I always say when I leave, you guys know this if you follow me, and if you don't, then this is new. Peace, love, and so much truth. That's it. Thanks, Aleeza, honey. Hey, thanks for listening to Doing Relationships Right. Don't forget, if you love my content and want to show your support, subscribe, rate, and review it on your favorite podcast platform. And grab my books, Midlife Priceless, A Dating Coach's Guide to Finally Doing Relationships Right, Woulda, Coulda, Shoulda, and One Happy Divorce at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Target.com, or my website, jenniferhurvitz.com. Thanks for listening. See you next week. Peace, love, and so much truth.